Hey everybody, MisterFlashed here to bring you a day one of early release Islands of Nyne breakdown on the predictable recoil patterns for the weapons in game. This is our first look at the devs' shooting range that they made available for us. And a couple of things to note before we actually kick it off. First of all of the testing is done with zero recoil control on my part. And second, the shooting is done standing versus crouching in game. On another note, I did notice in testing that there are weapon attachments that are made available in the shooting range, such as optics and laser sights, have no discernible effect on these recoil patterns. Jesus Christ, that sounds so awful. Gun game! Yeah, let's go! Oh, I got shot in the back. So, starting with the P90, standing, zero recoil control. You will see that there is quite a bit of climb, and it cuts up to the left, right, and then back up to the left again. And there's quite a bit of deviation between these two recoil patterns that just happened. Why? I'm not really sure, but we're going to see a little bit later in the video that this actually is not the case for other weapons. In fact, it wasn't actually the case for when I was doing this crouched either. Recoil pattern looks like it's about 30% tighter. Much more accuracy available if you can control the recoil. We'll put out one more mag just for good measure to make sure you can actually see both of them at the same time. It's almost identical. Okay, so since this is a shotgun and it's on semi-automatic, I'm going to vary the rate of fire just a little bit, the several magazines that I shoot out, so that we can see what the weapon does in different scenarios and with different rates of fire. And you'll see that there's actually quite a bit of difference between shooting quickly and slowly. Like this right here, there's a huge amount of muzzle climb if you try to fire the weapon too quickly. That's not going to be very effective. It happens even when you crouch. Next weapon is a Mark 18, pretty standard AR-10 platform, and probably actually going to be my favorite weapon based on the looks of this recoil. That is really tight. Almost exactly the same pattern and right on point the whole time, and even better when you crouch. Kind of looks like a little tornado. Anyway, moving on, we're going to go ahead and check out the UMP-45. Same deal, we're going to stand and put a couple mags out and just see what the recoil does. Really similar to that Mark 18, actually. And crouching, similar recoil pattern, but a little bit tighter. Probably about 30% tighter or so. Which seems to be standard for most of the weapons, in fact. Next weapon we have up is the CX-4 Storm, which is something I've never even heard of before. Could be make-believe for all I know. Semi-automatic. This is a DMR type, more or less, and pretty much laser beams. Yes, there's recoil, sort of. Not really. Another little thing that I have noticed that there are definitely capped rates of fire on these weapons. For example, when you hear the clicks, when the magazine is empty, you can actually hear the clicks coming much more quickly than when I was actually firing. Also notice this shot right here. That shot came out before I finished the ADS, which still counted as a hip fire shot, which is going to be pretty effective for negating the, quick scope idea. And of course, everybody in the world knows this weapon. Here is your AK-47, ladies and gentlemen. So I think a really important thing to take note of in this game is that standing and crouching, the recoil patterns are going to be exactly the same for every single weapon. I will go ahead and do the pistols as well, and I'm going to start with the Desert Eagle because I love this thing and it reminds me of Valkyrie from Rainbow Six Siege. So yeah, it's a 50 cal. It's going to have some climb, right? It's about as fast as you can fire it as well. But I did notice this, when you were shooting crouched, you had about the same amount of climb no matter what. There didn't seem to be much of any kind of reduction.